What's up, Warriors? Welcome to another wonderful Warrior Wednesday here at Protectors Toolkit, where we like to give you all the information, all the best information you need to be a good church protector for your church. Quickly, just to get you aligned about what we think here at Protectors Toolkit, we have a guiding biblical principle, and it says this. It's Proverbs 18:15. An intelligent heart acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. In the easy-to-read version of the Bible, it says it this way: wise people want to learn more, so they listen closely to gain knowledge. And that's really what we're all about here at Protectors Toolkit, is giving you knowledge from my experience in the military, law enforcement, private military contracting all over the world, doing bad things to bad people whenever necessary, and coming back to you so you can help be a church protector for you. Now, I also want to remind you that I do call you all warriors. In the job that you do at your church, you are a warrior. Every day you are a warrior, standing on that wall with a tool in one hand and a weapon in the other, prepared for battle. It says it this way, Exodus 15:3, the Lord is a warrior. And hey, we know we're made in his image, so you are warriors. Thank you for what you do at your church. Oscar, I got you as the first comment of the night. Oscar from Elgin, Texas, First Baptist. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And if you want to be like Oscar, if you want to do what the cool kids are doing, jump into the comments section. Let us know where you're listening from. To steal from Bill O'Reilly, name in town, or name in church if you want to opine or give a comment or talk to us as we go through tonight. Now, I would also be remiss if I did not say happy birthday to the United States Navy. 246th birthday today for the United States Navy. You do not look a day over 200, girl. You're looking good. Now, if I had to ask you, where does the Navy rank among all the branches of service? Where does the Navy rank among all branches of the service? Submarine. Yeah, that's your dad joke of the night right there. Jason Hensley, see you joining us from California. And Jim, see you joining us from Woodstock, Georgia. Thanks so much. Make sure you go out and share as well. If you're watching this broadcast right now and it's blessing you outside of the dad joke, please make sure you bless somebody else with this broadcast. Without further ado, because my friend is in Daytona, and I'm kind of jealous about that and kind of jealous about his day today, I'm going to bring in my buddy Josh Schirard from Byrna Technologies. Josh, thanks
How you
for
doing,
joining
guy?
us tonight. It's
absolutely.
a pleasure to have you, but come on, man, I got to be a little bit jealous of your day today.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty exciting. So we did some pretty exciting stuff today with some pretty cool folk.
For the guys listening, tell us what you did today.
Yeah, so one of the things at Byrna, especially with the law enforcement private security division, is it's really built around our training program. Guy, you said it right. It's all about that training and preparation. And so our LE and PS program is built around a very robust training and certification, and we do a train the trainer class for all of our entities that we onboard. And today, after about 8 months of going back and forth and just working with them, we're out here in Daytona, Florida, actually certifying a bunch of an entire class of ATF firearms instructors, so that they can go back and start certifying their people, because ATF will be onboarding the Byrna here very soon.
Oh, very good, very good. Yeah, what we're talking about here tonight, folks, is less lethal options, and less lethal options for church protectors. The basic philosophy of less lethal, and we've had this in law enforcement for a long time. If you go back to batons, even, we have less lethal options in law enforcement. Even if you go back to the lead saps or the lead gloves, or even the knuckle dusters that we used to carry, that's still a less lethal option that we carried way back in the day. And then you advance to somewhere today like the electronic immobilizer devices, and then fast forward to new technology now with the Byrna that you're going to learn about tonight. It is a force option, and it can be a force multiplier, and it's a way for you to de-escalate a situation without necessarily causing death. And that's what we really have to worry about within our church protector space. Not all problems can be solved with a gun. And too many times I travel around the country and I talk to church protectors, and their only program is having a gun. And well, that's great if you need to de-escalate somebody with a gun, but a lot of times there's very few frequencies of that. Yes, the ones that do happen rise to the surface, obviously, and up in the news cycle, of course, when we have church shootings or even school shootings. But there's a certain frequency level, and it's very, very low. Those people coming into churches and worship houses of worship with guns, and there's more and more opportunity where we may have to use a less lethal option beyond just verbal de-escalation. Some of the things to understand here's 3 reasons why I want you to start considering a less lethal option like Byrna. Number 1, confrontations don't necessarily unfold in a linear way. as we all think. We think that confrontations take maybe a stair-step approach. It's going to start here, then go here, then go here, or it's even going to take a more linear approach where it's just in a straight line. And that's not what confrontations, they're very dynamic. And when these dynamic events happen, we have to have a dynamic way of dealing with them. Number two, de-escalation requires time, obviously, but more importantly, cooperation of the person you're trying to de-escalate. And if you lose that cooperation at any point, you have to have an intermediate weapon in there, an intermediate device to continue that de-escalation process, especially if they escalate more than where they already were when you're trying to verbal de-escalation. And then last but not least, we typically only have a few less lethal options available to us. That's our verbal skills and maybe our fisticuffs and then a gun, and that's it. So we need to add in more tools to the tool belt of the church protector. So Josh, I'm really excited about you being here tonight. I'm so excited about your technology. I saw it at the church security conference.
Mm-hmm.
We were right across from each other. Just had a good old time talking about it. So let's get into what Byrna offers. You know, what are the capabilities, or what products you think fit the church protector market?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, Byrna's got a whole line of, of less lethal devices, available all the way from pistol size options, all the way to large scale rifle options, all the way to fully automatic, hopper fed options as well. But the kind of the heart of the Byrna product is all of our launchers are based on a 68 caliber encapsulated chemical projectile. So 68 caliber is the same size as your classic paintball size, but the projectile and the technology is way different. The projectiles, we offer everything from a solid plastic kinetic, what we call a kinetic round, that's just a direct impact round, everything. And then we add some different chemicals like pepper rounds and then pepper and CS rounds, blend rounds to just inert rounds, everything kind of in between. So really the heart of it is we're able to utilize a technology that's actually been around for quite some time. So when we're looking at use of force options, this isn't something that we're this isn't some brand new technology that we're trying to kind of overcome that initial hurdle of, look, is it safe? Is it gonna kill people? Is it really gonna cause too much damage, or is it gonna be effective at all? We know it's effective. Law enforcement is using this technology, the same type of round for a long time. What we've done is we've taken the delivery method to the next level, to the next step, by miniaturizing a lot of it so that it's actually can be feasibly carried on a day-to-day basis and really making it more reliable and more dependable. So our HD and SD line is some of the easiest to carry. Our pistol version options. They're the same size, dimensions. Now, thank you. Same size and dimensions as a Glock 17. So I mean, they're literally, it's just like carrying your 9mm full size Glock out there. It's a little bit thicker, but as far as how it prints, and length and height and all that, it's the same size as well. But it gives you the capability. It's powered off of an 8-gram CO2 cartridge that stays in the launcher itself. One of the great things about our launchers is our pull pierce technology. So you put the 8-gram CO2 cartridge in there, and it doesn't pierce the cartridge. The cartridge will stay dormant in the launcher. You load the rounds in the magazine, and it stays in there indefinitely. So it's a week, a month, 6 months, nothing's happening. So there's no air that can possibly leak out. And then when you need to use it, you literally switch the device from safe to fire. You pull that trigger, and that first trigger pull pierces the cartridge and sends that first round. And then you've got that cartridge will last for 20 additional rounds after that before you start to see a decrease in velocity. So the great part about that is it's really one of those weapons. A lot of less lethal weapons out there take a lot of maintenance, a lot of daily maintenance or weekly maintenance. So when you're talking about, especially in like a church security environment where these may stay locked up, or they may come out when you have service or anything like that, you want something that I don't have to sit there and make sure every day that I've got to take something out, put something in, or check or anything like that. I want to know that it's going to work at a moment's notice, and that's really what this does. I mean, we have law enforcement officers carrying this on their belt every day, and they don't have to worry about testing it every day. That they know that if it's been on their belt for 6 months, they need to use it. It's going to come out and it's going to be ready to go. So we're finding a lot of security entities are really liking this feature as well, because they can keep it in a guard shack, they can keep it in a room, they can keep it in a bag, and they know that it's going to be ready to deploy when they need it the most.
Yeah, that's so important too. I want to make sure we stop on that just for a second, about the non-pierce canister, because Some of the other less lethal devices out there, especially the electronic ones, I know from personal use. I've switched one on before that supposedly had a brand new battery and nothing happens.
Yep.
And bad on me for not knowing that, but I check my equipment daily, and when it lights up and it tells me it's good, but then it doesn't fire, that's a problem for me, especially if I'm out in my hand trying to use it.
Yep.
So, man, I love that. I love that I can keep it on my belt 6 months, and the first time I need to use it, it's going to fire, and it's going to fire every time. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's it's definitely one of the biggest, the biggest things that has really kind of helped us drive into the market is that reliability, dependability, and low maintenance. You've got these guys that are doing the job every day between law enforcement and private security, and even in the church security market. Like, this isn't anybody's primary responsibility. They probably have other responsibilities, and this is one of those things where they're also charged with maintaining that security. So they've got so many hats that they have to wear. The last thing they need is to have to worry, oh, well, let me go make sure the less lethal weapons are going to work. I got to go check them. I got to go do everything every, Sunday and Wednesday before service. It's one of those things that we want people to be able to set up, and they know it's going to work when they need it.
Yeah, that's so critical. And you hit the nail on the head. I mean, these guys and gals that do the heavy lifting on Sunday as a church protector, it's Sunday and maybe sometimes on Wednesday nights. And I need to grab the equipment that I need to grab, and it needs to work. When I grab it, I don't need to worry about a lot of maintenance, and I can store it on site easily, get it out of my lock cabinet, and know that I'm going to go to work with an effective product.
Absolutely.
So what is the for the HD and the SD? Are they both the same as far as maximum effective range?
Yeah, the SD is really kind of our, one of the great things about Byrna is its dedication to innovation and research and development. So we wanted to be able to not only just make a product and say that's it. We want to continue to innovate and continue to make those products better. The SD is really kind of the embodiment of that. It's, the HD was our flagship launcher. It was the first, handheld launcher of its kind released, and it was our first launcher. And then after we released it, and after last year was a massive success, but we obviously have a lot of feedback. What can we make better? How can we make this even better? How can we make this more reliable, more dependable, and more user friendly? And that's really where the SD came in. In a matter of 18 months, we took feedback, we turned around, and we put all that feedback into the brand new launcher, which is the SD. So the SD is basically just the upgraded HD from a lot of the feedback that we got. Maximum effective range on both of them is over 60 feet. When I say 60 feet, we get 8 inches of accuracy at 60 feet. So you're hitting man-sized targets well beyond that. But at 20 yards, you are almost 3 times the distance of any other less lethal device to engage an uncompliant suspect. So that's really where it's shining. Is there's other tools out there. There are, and it's all about providing options, and it's all about providing with as many options as you can, so that if we don't have to absolutely use deadly force, then we don't need it. But of the options available, this is one of the few devices that really increases your capability as far as distance, as far as multi-target engagement, and as far as multiple routes of engagement. I can utilize the direct impact value, and I can hit. I can hit the assailant, I can hit the suspect directly, and utilize that direct impact value as well as the chemical agent value of the round, or I can use an indirect value. I'm sure just from working at the churches as a law enforcement officer for 17 years, a lot of it was just people hanging out. It was people hanging out. A lot of ED problems, emotionally disturbed mental health issues, and so a lot of times you get that person that. Hey, they're sleeping on the porch, and you want to get them off. You try to say, hey man, can you move on? And they start getting angry. They start being aggressive. But it's one of those things where, I don't necessarily need to strike him directly with one of the rounds. Maybe that's a little much. He hasn't presented a weapon, anything like that. But I can hit the wall next to him or hit the wall above him and allow that chemical agent, we have a 3 to 5 foot dispersal on that chemical agent, to envelop him and make that area very uncomfortable for him to be in, and he moves on. And I've been able to utilize a lower level of force, the least amount of force necessary to affect the behavior that I wanted, which was just him leaving. Right. And now I've solved a problem that I may not have been able to talk myself out of, but I'm obviously not going to pull a gun on the guy. that puts me in a whole new bracket. But now I've been able to use something, get a very concise, very quick response, and everybody's getting the behavior that they want.
That I want to also camp on what you said right there with the 60 feet. In law enforcement, we've been trained the 21-foot rule, right? If someone with a knife
edged
can cover
weapons,
that 21-foot gap and get on top of you almost before you can draw your pistol and engage. And that's even a fallacy. That's been proven wrong so many times. It depends on the officer, depends on the training, depends on the conditions. There's so much that depends on. But 60 feet, I mean, that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That is a good amount of standoff. And I'll tell you, I know our customers. I know the guys and gals that serve in the church. It's predominantly a more seasoned guy or gal. We're getting up there in age,
Yep.
and that standoff is perfect for what we are trying to accomplish, especially if we're de-escalating somebody and they seem to be amped up and they're not taking the de-escalation. Now it's nice to know I can increase that space between us, and then, like you said, I can disperse one over their head if I need to, make them move on or rethink what they're starting to think.
Yep.
Or if I need to, I can do the direct impact as well.
Exactly.
That's just phenomenal. I love that.
Distance equals time. And that's really how you have to think about it. And time to react, time to try something different, time to change tactics is all very valuable. And like you said, with everything else, law enforcement, private security has really been limited to that. Every other less lethal tool that they've had is limited to them to 20, 21 feet or inside of that. So you think you got a guy with a knife and you have to close the gap to 21 feet in order to engage him. What happens when that doesn't work? What happens? I mean, I've got over my career, I probably have upwards of 20 tasings, and they're 50% effective. Half of them worked, but half of them didn't. So what happens when I try to tase this guy at 21 feet or 20 feet that has a knife and it doesn't work? And now I have escalated that, and he is now going to attack me. Well, he's already inside that 20-foot bubble. At that point, I have no choice. At that point, I'm going to lethal, because I didn't have the time and the distance to buy myself more options. There's no weapon that's 100% effective. None. Not even a gun. I've watched people take 2 rounds of 45 in the heart and still fight for over a minute. Nothing is 100% effective. So if you're at that 60 feet, that 20 yards, and for some reason this is not effective, it still buys you time to try something else, to move, to retreat, to go somewhere else, to get out of harm's way. Whereas other weapons, when you have to get so close, you lose that ability to react to something.
Yeah, I've done a whole training on this, just about on the disrespect of time and distance and how it kills us. When we disrespect time and distance, especially in the law enforcement world, we rush in, we don't take in everything, and we don't take the time that we need. That's what we see officers getting killed over, unfortunately. So, man, so fantastic to hear you guys, the distance you guys on the standoff of this. That's phenomenal, especially for the customers we have. So let's talk about, direct hit, CS or other. What's the decon look like? We hit somebody, a couple rounds, probably maybe one stops them. I've seen your videos.
Maybe. Yeah, it can. That's for sure.
So what's the decon look like?
So the great part about what we're doing is, as opposed to like an aerosolized OC spray, which is widely available and widely carried. An aerosolized OC spray can be very effective, but it comes with a lot of potential issues. One is, of course, the distance that you have to get at for it to be effective. But two is the contamination issue. It's aerosolized. So, anybody that's used OC spray knows that if I'm in a room, even if it's a larger room, and I spray somebody 10, 12, 15 feet away, that whole room's getting it, to a certain degree. So, you kind of risk that. The great part about our encapsulated chemical projectiles, it's all a powderized formula. So it's all in powder form. So we get that 3 to 5 foot dispersal cloud, but barring, large environmental factors, that 3 to 5 feet cloud, it disperses and then it drops. The chemical agent is actually fairly heavy. So it drops and falls to the floor, which means that if I'm in if I'm in your standard, I say standard, there's really no standard, like sanctuary. A lot of them can be pretty big. But if I'm in your standard, conference room or, call it 40 by 40 room, I can shoot somebody in the corner on one side of the room and the other side of the room is never even going to feel it, because it's very, very localized. We have some security agencies and some casinos around the nation that carry it. One of the big things was their casino, didn't want them to carry aerosolized OC spray. And a lot of it goes back to the money, right? If I spray somebody on a casino floor, they're probably gonna have to clear most of that floor to decon, and that turns into a lot of lost money. So they chose the Byrna because it allows them to hit somebody, they hit somebody in a row of slot machines, and they got to clear the slots on the left and the right, but then that's it, to decon. As far as the actual decon works, it's super easy. It's a lot easier than OC spray because it's a powderized formula. As far as getting it on your person, it's just water. Water washes it off, and then it just takes time, to kind of process through, the effects. But after that, all the powder is washed off. So you don't need, like OC spray, very oily, and you kind of have to have that cutting agent, some sort of like Dawn dish soap, or I'm not promoting Dawn or anything, but so we always say some kind of dish soap to really kind of cut that
milk
oil agent. All the milk, the myth of just whole milk on the face. There's no secret. It's just water, but the powderized formula makes it much easier to decontaminate. So it's better to decontaminate yourself and an area. You can literally, use baby wipes or Clorox wipes, wipe this up off the floor, and that's it. So it makes it very, very simple to do that, and very, very localized, so where it's not gonna cross contaminate a whole large area.
Wow, that's amazing in itself right there, because you hit it on the nail on the head. All the things we've experienced in law enforcement, I've cleared whole rooms just spraying it in the room itself, because it will do that, your aerosolized ones. So that's even more perfect for the church protector. Now, so our church protectors, like we talked about earlier, they mainly show up on Sundays, sometimes Wednesday nights, depending on what goes on at their church. But now I'm thinking about the regular days of the week, Monday through Thursday maybe. That's the normal operating times of a church. Now it's low occupancy at that time. You have a church secretary, maybe facilities maintenance, maybe a pastor or two, and that's probably about it. So these people are hugely at risk. So
sure,
knowing what I know about most churches, the church secretary, administrator, these are again more seasoned people. Is this thing hard to manipulate? Is it? I mean,
not
is it something
not
even the church secretary can get into?
Yeah, not at all. One of the things that we see a lot of is, one of our large markets is people that either one, don't want to carry a gun for one reason or the other, or two, just don't feel comfortable doing it for whatever it is, whether it's one that they don't, they lack the, maybe the physical strength, to handle that recoil, to handle the firearm, or two, they've had that discussion with themselves, and they aren't sure that they're going to be able to pull the trigger on somebody. We see, and you've seen it, I'm sure, especially on the civilian side, but even on the law enforcement private security side, we see trigger hesitation, especially nowadays, especially with the current, political climate. Trigger hesitation is a real thing. So not only is it a very easy gun to shoot, because there's no recoil, so there's nothing that you have to, there's no recoil that you have to manage or get back on target with. But then, the thought process that you have to go through, that you don't have to go through, of look, I need to fix this problem, but I don't have to worry about the after effects of killing somebody, everything that goes right of bang. We train all about left of bang. We train how to get, shots on target, train how to reload, train how to do all that stuff. But unfortunately, I think a lot of us, kind of forget about what happens right of bang. And that is arguably more important and more affected to your life. So when it comes to, who this is applicable to and who can, effectively use this tool, it's so much wider of an audience than a firearm because of those factors, because of the ease of use, and then because of the lack of, of trigger hesitation, for something that, they're not sure may or may not warrant, a deadly threat or deadly response.
Yeah, that's perfect. Training and certification, you recommend it obviously, but I can buy a kit without that, but I recommend that everybody has training and certification, obviously. What's that look like, a training and certification class for this?
Yeah, so for law enforcement private security, we do offer a train the trainer certification. And a lot of that is just to make sure that, a lot of that is liability's sake on their end, but just to make sure that they understand the left and right limits of the launcher, or the series of launchers, whatever they decide to go with, and that they understand what it's capable of and really what abilities and capabilities it gives them. So, obviously the church security falls into that private security. So they're all, able to attend one of our Train the Trainer courses. So we have them all over the nation. And we're also apt to hosting, if you want to host a Train the Trainer course at your location, we can definitely talk about doing that. That's most of what our training is. Trying to train in a centralized location is, it's asking a lot of people. So, most, at least 2 or 3 weeks out of the month, we're somewhere. One of my team members is somewhere doing a Train the Trainer course. So it would definitely be, advantageous if somebody's going to employ this in a church security team to send one of their folks to that Train the Trainer course. And that way they can understand really how this can be utilized in every capacity. And then they go back and they, quote unquote, certify their people or train their folk on, hey, this is what they taught us, to teach. And it really gives them a very good picture of what it can do and what it can't do. That's one of the things we talk about a lot is the whole point. We're very, open about, what it does, what capabilities it gives you, without giving you some sort of false hope that it's going to, save the world. It is a great tool, but it just is that, and if you watch any of our Byrna videos that we do and the content they create, I always say that the tool is only as good as your ability to proficiently deploy it. And that's really what it comes down to. And we want to make sure that you understand how to proficiently deploy that tool.
Yeah, very good. So we talked about a kit. What comes in a kit when I buy a kit?
Yeah, so the kits, we have the HD and SD kits. You've got Pepper and Kinetic kits both. So the kit includes the launcher itself. It comes with 2 magazines. It'll include a 5 count of the actual chemical agents. So if you buy a Pepper kit, it'll include 5 of the Pepper rounds, which is a full magazine of Pepper rounds. It'll also include the Kinetic rounds as well, which are great for direct impact. The Kinetic rounds, they're solid polymer, solid plastic. They also are great glass break rounds. So they will cook through glass as well, automotive glass, house glass, anything. And then it also come with our NERT rounds, our training rounds. So that way you can, you can get some practice in. We also have some upgraded kits like the Ultimate Carry Kit that includes a holster, and then the training kit or the shooter's kit that includes, a 95 count of training rounds so that you can get a lot more training, and 10 count of CO2. The regular kit comes with 2 of the 8 gram CO2. The 8 gram CO2 is not proprietary to us. It is a standard 8 gram CO2 cartridge. So it's one of those that you can go to, 8 grams, a little bit smaller than your classic like Crossman 12 gram. But anybody with SodaStream out there has probably seen the 8 gram because it's the same stuff. It's in my, some of the bosses are like, no, they need to buy from us. I was like, yeah, let them get it wherever they want to get it. So it's one of the things where, we don't make any money off of the CO2 because we want you to shoot. We want people to train. We created a training round that was cheaper than any other training round that we have, so people would shoot more because we wanted people to train with it. So, those 8 grams you can literally go to Walmart and find in the SodaStream aisle if you want. They're the same price that we sell them for. But the kit, we'd have some different kit options that includes that. The Pepper kits, as long as you're in a state that allows us to ship chemical agents to. So California, New York have some restrictions. I think there's a couple. Yeah, and it is what it is. But the Kinetic kits we can definitely ship to you as well. The Max rounds, the OCCS rounds, we actually sell separately. So we'll ship those to you as well. California being what it is and not allowing chemical agents, California is one of our biggest customers. They love their Kinetic kits out there. So, it's definitely very popular out there.
Very nice. Give me the ballpark on the cost of a kit.
Yeah, absolutely. So the HD kits are, I want to say $359, and the new SD kits are out at $399. You can also find the SD kits on Amazon as well. So they're available for Prime as long as your area supports that as well. So you can literally turn around and get those in a couple days. On the Pepper and Kinetic kits as well. So Byrna.com, you can find all those products. As well as a bunch of videos. Check out our YouTube channel. If you want to know how all of this stuff works, we put out a lot of content as far as how everything works. We break everything down for you to make sure that you understand what you're getting, and then once you get it, how to use it. And then there's a lot of information there if you're wondering if it's right for you. You can definitely go there. le.byrna.com is specific to our LE and private security. So if you have information or you want more information, if your church security team is interested and says, man, I think this might fit for us, but I really need some more directed information, go to le.byrna.com. There's a section on there for, hey, I'd like some more info. or you can email me directly. My email is jschirard, JSCHIRARD @Byrna.com, or you can email us at leinfo@Byrna.com. And then we'll get back to you, and any kind of question you might have, feel free to ask. Man, we're here to walk you guys through the process. Our LE and private security division is very small, and it's like that because we're very, very particular. All of our guys have extensive law enforcement history, because we want to make sure that we can answer your questions, and that we can go out there and we can speak with some experience and some credibility as to, hey, look, we've used these products, we've used this product out on the street, and that way we can give you some good frame of reference.
Perfect. I mean, you hit all the points right there, buddy. So closing thoughts, and guys, don't think you missed any of those comments that he said, and the websites. We're going to drop all those down in the comment section for you right there, so it's easy to get into. So Josh, any closing thoughts? I know you got a hard stop here coming up.
No, it's all right. I see the question on the screen. Is there an age restriction? It is 18 and up, but that's it. The great part about this stuff too is that's really the only restriction. There's no permits, there's no background checks, there's no state restrictions. We got a lot of people that travel a lot and love this because maybe they're in a state that doesn't have a lot of reciprocal agreements with concealed carry. So this is something that they can travel with all the time. I fly with these all the time. It just makes that a lot easier. So Byrna is quickly becoming the leader in less lethal, and really kind of your one-stop shop for some of the best less lethal technology out there. It's definitely growing like wildfire, and we'd love to be able to, the reason that we do this, the reason that the guys that are on my team are here is to give people options. It is to make sure that we can have a positive effect on people, and that we can go out there, give them options, train them how to use them, and know that maybe somebody doesn't have to, and one of the things that I always like to say is, no matter how righteous, no matter how justified a shooting is, there's no such thing as a good shoot. Nobody ever wants that. Nobody should ever want that as the desired outcome. And when it does happen, regardless of its justification or not, it will change your life. It will change. It will absolutely change your life, and not necessarily in a good way. So if we can ever do something to try to, if that's not absolutely needed, and we can do something to keep somebody from having, to go through, everything that happens right a bang, and that's what drives us in the morning. That's what makes us get up and keep doing what we're doing. So we appreciate the time. We appreciate talking to everybody and answering every question that we can.
Josh, thank you once again so much for being here. You and I are going to talk offline at some point. I've got some thoughts there. But again, guys, I can't stress the company Byrna enough. They just from the HD to the SD model, and taking the feedback from the people that use it, that just tells you everything you need to know about a company. When they listen to the people in the field that are actually using the technology, and they change it to make it better, that just tells me what I need to know about a company. They really listen to the people that are using it, and I absolutely love that about the company. So thanks so much.
Absolutely. No, and I appreciate the time, guy. I appreciate the platform to share our story and see if we can't help some more folks.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, don't forget to go to all of our Protectors Toolkit, grab your guide and checklist to your safe fall events. Head over to Protectors Toolkit to grab your guide and checklist to your safe fall events that are coming up. Some of your trunk or treats or whatever you're having at that's a limited price right now going on over there. Better yet, go join our hundreds of warriors just like you in our membership to get the checklist, guides, and training already done for you, and a ton of other resources free. Go to protectorstoolkit.com to go get all those resources. Join our membership. Of course, I want you to join the membership. Guess what the membership does for you? As a church protector, as a church warrior, you're showing up every Sunday. You're trying to figure out all this stuff on your own, and you're looking for help. That's what the membership does for you. It gives you back time in your day that you need to do the things that you want to do to professionalize your ministry. So go in there and join the membership. Jump in there with hundreds of other warriors just like you, enjoying the time back in their day. Go like and subscribe to all of our social media on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notifications every time we drop in new content. We're booking first and second quarter right now of 2022. We're booking first and second quarter of 2022 for our live in-person training classes. And don't keep a lookout on our webpage and on our social media. We have a 2-day functional pistol for warriors that's already booked for 2022 coming in Burbank, California. Yes, you heard it here, folks. We are going to have a firearms training in California, in Los Angeles County, believe it or not, for church protectors. We're so thankful the sheriff out there has finally realized that the citizenry and especially the churches need to protect themselves. So we're happy to have the gathering place and Kimberly partner with us and to host the firearms training in the beginning of 2022. If you want to have a firearms class or any other training at your church for de-escalation, for behavior pattern awareness, or a basic course in church safety and security to bring your team congruent, where everybody has the same skill sets, capabilities, and abilities, contact us at protectorstoolkit.com. And warriors, as I always say, keep them safe.